Hi, it's Olga Zarr from SEO Sly. Welcome to SEO Podcast by SEO Sly. Today I have a very special guest, Anton Shulke. Hi, Anton. How are you doing?
Hi, Olga. I'm doing very well. I'm extremely happy to be here. You are a rising star. I can tell you immediately, and you probably will be very, very, very famous in a couple of years. You already know. So I'm so happy to be here.
Wow, that's very nice to hear. Thanks. Thanks, Anton. I don't feel like a star, even like a rising star yet, but I'm
You are.
going
You
to
are.
definitely try to become more famous in the years to come. And you are so bright with your red color today, like very bright.
It's not red. It's orange. Yeah,
Oh, it's
but yeah,
orange. For me,
yeah.
it looks like red.
Yeah. It depends on the screen and everything. So it is orange. Yeah.
Okay, orange. Okay, orange. Okay, so before we get started, I just want you to briefly talk about your cats and dogs shelter project, and then we'll dive deep into other topics we have for today.
Yeah, sure. Basically, it's a project about cats and dogs shelter back in Ukraine. So I'm originally from Kiev. With the war and everything going, we managed to get out of the country, actually passing your country, because it's the only way to go through Poland. And actually, Poland was so open and so helpful. So we managed to move our cat as well without documents, which wasn't be possible in any time but war. But back into Ukraine, there are plenty of stray animals, and especially now, it's not even a stray. They're not even stray. The animals, just people just throw animals on the street because they don't have money, or they have to go or something like that, or they have money and go back, something like that. It was a lot of animals need help before. There were now more animals like
Mhm.
that, but it's much less money, because usually those people who keep and help these animals, some of them have 150 cats or something like that. They live on a charity money. I used to give them send them some little bit of money every month, but now and many people did, but nowadays people are so short of money, because people short of jobs and everything in Ukraine. So I start my personal project, and I use it, buy me a coffee platform, so people can buy me coffee. As
Mhm.
it's not a coffee, it's start like $5. It's the smallest one. $5, I think, here in the Western Europe, North America, Australia, Japan, wherever it is. It's not really big money. It's similar to coffee, maybe slightly more. But back there in Ukraine, $5 could make a big difference for a particular
Mhm.
cat or dog. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So I will add the link in the description, and hopefully we
Thanks.
will get more people to take part in this initiative. Okay, Anton. So can you tell the audience more about yourself? I know you're from Ukraine, but like tell us more about you if there are people who don't know you. I'm not
Yeah,
sure if
okay.
there are.
I started doing. I started get into this industry, mainly SEO, in 2015. I started doing webinars. I really started with webinars, and I had absolutely no idea what's this all about. It just go on and basically
Mhm.
being put in the water, and hopefully swim. So I do know much more about things, and eventually it's all come to webinars, using live streams. Okay, we're not doing live right now, but could be live, using live streams as an influencer marketing tool. And I used to work for SEMrush for 5 years, and
Mhm.
last summer I moved from SEMrush to smaller company, to Duda. Okay, when I said Duda, all my Polish friends
Yeah.
start laughing. All
Yeah.
my Spanish-speaking friends start laughing as well. Why? Okay, Polish, understandable. You have a president, which surname is Duda, and I presume Duda has another meaning. Duda. something like that.
That as well. Yeah.
Exactly as in Ukrainian, for example. Okay, you have a president, Duda, nothing wrong with that. So should be good. And the Spanish-speaking friend, because Duda in Spanish means doubt, which is not disaster either. What I usually when I just move, Spanish-speaking friends start asking me, "Tienes alguna duda?" Which means, "Do you have any doubt or duda?" Yeah, it's a game here, playing, which is not too bad either. So duda is CMS and the site builder. When I moved, I thought it's the same. CMS is site build, website build, but it's not. It's not the same. It's what I already learned. Yeah.
Okay.
So and what I mostly do, I'm doing influencer marketing, and one of the major tool I use is this live stream, or used to call webinars before COVID time, when everyone started doing webinars, and you think, okay, everyone doing webinars, I'm not doing webinars anymore. I'm doing live stream.
Okay, so I'll definitely have a ton of questions about these in just a second. So, but what were you doing before, like 2015? What was like your...
Yeah, it would be easier to ask what I wasn't doing.
Okay, so
So,
what you...
I a long time ago, long time ago, almost in my previous life, I graduated university and I studied math. Yeah,
Oh,
it was a long time ago. I used to work for bank, for a couple of different banks, but it was a long time ago. I used to work for some import and export company, and also I had internet cafe, my own internet cafe in London, and I also have my launch bar where people drink themselves to death. Well, not to death, but close to death, in Valencia, Spain. So kind of almost everything. So and in 2015, as I already mentioned, I started doing marketing things.
okay. And you immediately got your first job in this industry at SEMrush, right?
No, it was a small Ukrainian company called Web Promo. So and SEMrush called me late when I was about to leave Web Promo.
Oh, okay. And what were you doing at SEMrush?
SEMrush was doing more or less was the same what I'm doing at Duda. So it's influencer marketing things, and but a lot of webinars. I probably kind of, well, I wasn't before SEMrush. I was doing webinars myself. I was hosting. At SEMrush, I wasn't hosting, but I was kind of arranging all the webinars. And I think in SEMrush was about 500 webinars we've done.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah, 5
Nice.
years. Yeah.
Okay, and now you are at Duda. Can you tell me like something more about Duda? So it is a small company. It is
It's not. No, it's
not
not
a
small.
small. It used
It
to be a
depends. It
small
depends. No, okay, it's smaller than SEMrush.
SEMrush. Yeah.
Because when I joined SEMrush was 400 people. When I left SEMrush was 1,000 plus people.
Oh,
Duda is 200 plus people.
okay.
200, a small or big, depends
Depending.
where you looking from.
Exactly.
So, for example, I remember when I traveled from London to Barcelona, I thought Barcelona is a small city, which is not
Yeah.
true. Now I'm traveling from Valencia to Barcelona. I think, oh, it's a huge city. So it depends. 200 people.
Sure.
Duda has about 200 plus people. Duda started 2009, 2010, somewhere between them. So it's a kind of, well, almost a veteran in the industry. So Duda has offices. The first major regional office is in Tel Aviv, because both co-founders are from Tel Aviv. But now headquarter is in Palo Alto in California. We also have office, mainly sales office, in Colorado. We have offices in Brazil and in Canada. In Canada, because about almost 2 years ago, Duda acquired here is a small 12 people there, was a small software company which produce e-commerce solution. So Duda decided it would be easier to just acquire the company instead of just build it everything themselves from scratch. Duda is CMS, as I mentioned. CMS is what you do website on. So content management system. Every website based on some kind of CMS. There are plenty of CMS. The most famous one, obviously, WordPress. We're not as big as WordPress, not yet, but hopefully one day.
Sure. And can you like compare Duda to WordPress? Like what are like the differences, the similarities?
Yeah, okay, compare Duda to WordPress. WordPress obviously well longer in the market, and WordPress is much bigger in terms of market.
Market share.
So market share. Sorry, just escaping. So it's much bigger company.
Yeah.
WordPress probably 45% of the market. Duda is about 1% or something like that. The major difference between WordPress is fantastic. So if, for example, if you need one site, maybe very complicated, maybe not, and you know WordPress very well, don't move anywhere. But if your agency and you're doing a lot of sites for your clients, so for example, you do, I don't know, five new clients every month. Usually, it works like that. You don't just produce a site for client, give it to him and forget. No, you usually give it to client and you manage it. Manage it, client. If your client is, for example, small local business like Texas plumber, he doesn't want really to know anything. He will just tell the agency, okay, we change the hours, or we change the office, or we have new things, and you do it on a small retainer. So usually how it works, the agency produce size for you, and after that manage it for you till you live. And so if your agency and you do, for example, 5 new clients every month, and you already have, I don't know, 100 clients or 200 clients, 200 sites. We do have agencies who got more than 1,000 clients at the same time. So, for example, if you do it with WordPress, WordPress is famous for working with third-party plugins, which could be fantastic, but could be very, very bad because plugins needs
Yeah.
to be updated. Sometimes it's gateway for hackers and everything. So usual agency, I talk to many agencies, usual agency usually leave about 1 or 2 hours a month for maintenance WordPress site. As I said, if you have one site, 1 hour a month makes no difference. So fantastic. And you know WordPress very well, no problem. But if you have, for example, 100 or 200 and you put 1 or 2 hours, basically you did one extra person in your agency just doing that. So always if you stay with Duda and many other, but particularly with obvious, I don't want to try to sell our competitors right
I'm
now.
just interested. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you use Duda obviously take care of it. So Duda does look on a security issue and everything. So you don't have to update. You don't have to do any maintenance. So you said if your agency and you have 200 clients, so you save one person to deal with. Also, Duda is much faster to produce sites. Depends on your skills, but it's usually like 7 to 10 times faster. Duda also is absolute champion. This is just a fact. Absolute champion of Core Web Vitals. If you go to Data Studio, Google Data Studio, there is technology report. Technology report. They check like 10, not 10, about 1,000 URL from every single CMS with the most traffic, and they see how many out of those, maybe it's 10,000, can't remember, how many of those passing Core Web Vitals. And Duda right now, the last one was October, I think, because they do it every month, and Duda is 66 or 67%. It's out of the box. When I talk to WordPress guys, I know many of them, and they usually say, "Yeah, so rubbish. I can do WordPress sites fantastically fast." It's absolutely true, but this person probably been doing it for 10 years, and if you
Uh-huh.
don't have it, this experience, you probably have to employ him or her, and it's not going to be cheap, believe me. So WordPress sites could be very, very fast, but you really need to put a lot of. Duda is very fast out of the box. So it depends. If you do have fantastic WordPress team in your site, maybe you don't need to move Duda. But if you don't, and most of the agencies they don't, you probably would be much better staying with Duda. By the way, Duda has, I think, 18,030 agencies as a clients.
Oh, that's a lot. So
Yeah,
what does Duda do that it is that fast? What's like the secret?
I don't think it's a secret, but it's a lot of work out technical. I'm not technical enough. I know it's
Mhm.
SEO things, but I'm not, unfortunately, not technical enough
Sure.
uh, to say it. But they work a lot with images and everything. So they try to make it faster. Sounds kind of very easy and ridiculous, but it's a lot of work. Some other guys doing great as well. So if you look at the VIX, which trying to push it, they're really doing very well. They still 20% point behind.
Uh-huh.
But they're doing very well, but they're still very much behind Tudors.
Okay, and how about like SEO optimizations? Is it like easy to optimize
Yeah,
headings,
yeah, it's
titles?
it's it's again it's again the same question. If you fantastic, if, for example, if you Olga Zarr, so maybe you don't really need Duda for SEO purposes.
Uh-huh.
But if you don't have much of SEO stuff in your agency, Duda is very good out of box.
Okay.
And for you, it would be more or less the same because you know which button to press, which things to do, and everything. Do they actually introduce new feature? Right now, actually, it's in beta, and uh, they use WooRank SEO
Uh-huh.
tool, and now you can do SEO audit before publishing site, which should
Oh,
be well, because well, it doesn't matter it's site published or not published if you have access to it. So you can crawl it and well your own with your own tool or with whatever tool, and you can do audit before publishing site. So our clients now will be able to click it, do audit. It's probably reasonably simple audit. It's not audit what you do for your clients. So
sure.
click it, and the major error would be shown before publishing. So you can just fix major error, and after that click publish and go online.
Okay, okay. So yeah,
You should try. You should try it. You should try it.
yeah, I'm definitely interested in trying this out. Yeah, sure. Will you get me some account, some demo
Sure.
account? I'll be happy to check this
Sure,
really.
of course we will. I'm not up to your money. I'm not sales. I'm not sales, and
Yeah,
I'm
it
not
was
up
like
to
me.
your.
I'm just interested, so I'm
Yeah,
asking
I'm
you
not up to
questions.
your money, so but I'm up to your knowledge and experience. So if you can help us to make it better,
Yeah,
fantastic.
I'd love that. I would love that. Yeah. Okay, so now I would like to like pick your brains a little bit because it looks like you are an expert in influencer marketing and like lives,
I
webinars, stuff
like I
like
like
that.
your look. I like your looks like kind of. You might be not. Yeah, I don't
No.
know. Yeah, well, no, just kidding. Yeah.
Yeah. So like what's influencer marketing? When I first heard this like I don't know, 5 years ago, I thought like what is it? Is it even a thing? So like can you expand on that like what it
Sure,
is?
sure.
But
And actually, I want to say about what I see right now is kind of two very different concepts of influencer marketing. Because I came from a SEMrush background, I'm not SEO myself, but I've been in SEO community. I'm still, I think, part of SEO community. I would call one approach as a PPC approach and one approach is SEO approach in influencer marketing. So for example, and now there are plenty of platforms. I've been bombarded with a kind of people can see my title or influencer marketing try to sell me an influencer marketing platform. They all for this what I call PPC approach. So what is the approach? You find an influencer who's got someone who is usually on Instagram, but maybe anywhere else. Someone who's got relevant audience for your product. I don't know. This is your product. Doesn't matter what it is. I don't know. Black hotel. It's not black square, but whatever, black rectangle. Yeah. So you have it, you give it to your influencer, you give influencer this money and say, okay, do something. The influencer does a video or still pictures or some stories. And this is it. The transaction done. You probably sold some amount of product. If it went well, you come back to your influencer and say, okay, let's do it again. Let's put it more money or do something like that. I would call it PPC approach, which I think is very similar to PPC. Whilst you pay money, you get in sales. So this is influencer marketing. So everyone is influencer, almost, but some influencer bigger, much bigger. Some influencer small. Some influencer cannot influence their own cat. Well, my cat doesn't listen to me, for example.
My cats do not listen to. So
okay, so it's very difficult to be cat influencer. I agree. So depends on your budget and on your product. You can approach any influencer. You can do this. This is a PPC approach. Nothing wrong with that. It's like nothing wrong with the PPC. I just don't do that mainly. So I'm slightly different one. So what I call SEO approach. SEO means it's a long way. It doesn't work quick, but when it does work, it's usually long lasting. So how we approach influencer marketing? We try to find people who we think would be a good influencer, whose audience are reasonably relevant to us. So, for example, when I work for SEMrush, mainly with people like you, Olga, people who are part of SEO community, mainly SEO community, PPC content marketing as well, but mainly SEO community, people who's got kind of audience, big or small, especially we pay attention to rising stars, of course. So how did we usually? We try to kind of befriend them first. After that, we see if they like our product, because if whoever influencer is, doesn't like your product, thinks it's shit, don't waste your money and don't waste your breath and time and effort. It's not gonna work. So you, out of every influencers, you find people who loves your product. For example, in that time it was SEMrush, now it's Duda, who loves your product. And after that, you're trying to kind of do what we did. We tried to give them exposure as much as possible. The easiest way and cheapest way and fastest way, we use webinars or live streams to do that. Usually, and the major idea was it sounds very bad when I said we done webinars for people who were on a screen. This was a major target, not audience, but audience very important as well. But main target were people. We usually don't do it one-to-one. We usually 4 people all together. So and they were main target of those webinars because we try to please them. We try to give them access to our audience. Try to sell their knowledge and everything. And the main how we call it, KPI was, if this influencer, he or she, call me next day or in a couple of days, they say, no, can we do another one? Well, this is fantastic. It means, wow, we hit it. Not always
Uh-huh.
happen, but most of the time. So we try to find a way how to engage influencer. Most of SEO people, for example, they do love to speak and do love to speak out. So for us, when we instruct our moderator, host, whatever you call it, we think one of the major content is important, good questions, dynamic, everything, but it's very, very important if you have several people. So for example, if you have moderator, speaker, and two panelists, four people all together, make sure everyone has enough time to speak, or a speaker will
Uh-huh.
have enough time, obviously, but out of two panelists, one may be very talkative, like I'm talking all the time, and so very talkative, and another one more maybe slightly shy. So
Uh-huh.
for moderator, it was very clear instruction. Make sure the shy one you pull out of a corner and let him or her speak. Because if after 60 minutes of webinar, one of the panelists, for example, only said his or her name, and that's it,
Uh-huh.
he or her will be very disappointed, and it
Yeah.
means it's hit and miss. So this is the idea. So this is easy to do, reasonably easy to do, and this is the first step of kind of. And we also say to influencer, we're not after your money, we're not after you, we're after your knowledge, of course, but the main thing, we want to steal your soul. So this is what our idea was.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, great. And so what's the difference between like webinars and lives? Lives. Like what's the difference?
No, there is no difference between. There is big difference between podcast and webinars. There
Uh-huh.
is no difference between webinar and live streams. Obviously, webinar could be recording of webinar. It could be recording of live stream. So there is no difference.
Okay.
But the major difference between webinar and podcast is classic. Even nowadays, podcast, almost everyone has a video version,
Yeah.
but podcast is audio things, and obviously it's I can't say invented. It was designed for people. For example, you're driving, or you're in a train, and you can just put it on your mobile, and you can listen a podcast, so you don't have to look at it.
Yeah.
So
Watch it.
podcast, first thing, podcast is audio, classical audio podcast. Webinar is a video things, which means advantage and disadvantage. Obviously, if you drive in a car, even if it's Tesla or auto drive, you're not supposed
Yeah.
to watch webinar.
To watch.
So you can't watch webinar. But when you can watch webinar has a lot of advantages because it's video. So video means visual, so you can add some charts or some videos or something, and also you see people. So it's advantage, and because of that they have very big difference, and
Mm-hmm.
because of the difference is very clear. So for example, for podcast, and we experimented with that at Semrush. If you add more than two people, if you have more than two people, it becomes very difficult to distinguish who is talking, because
Oh,
too many voices, and it's difficult. So podcast usually is two people,
okay.
host and the guest. Why? Because if you put more people in it, would be difficult to understand when you're listening. When you watch it, it's no problem. I used to do a webinar with 10 guests. It's too many. We stopped
Yeah.
doing it. But I mean, theoretically, you can see who is talking.
Uh-huh.
So this is not a problem for webinar, but it is a problem for podcast. So podcast stick with two people. Actually, if you have podcast and they both, for example, feminine or both masculine, and the voice is similar, even two voices is difficult
Oh,
to distinguish. But it's another point. So for webinar, it's video. Use it. If you put just, it's why so many podcasts nowadays, as I said, almost every, because technology is here, it's easy. Every podcast has audio and video version,
yeah.
but usually only one does well, because of different nature of this. So, for example, if you're doing real podcast, and you remember that you have an audio version, you can't really use slides. or you can't
Yeah.
really use video or funny picture, or you can't, as I said, you can't add more people. So you can't do that, and your video became, how should I say, slightly boring, because it's just two dudes or dudettes, whatever, it doesn't matter, man or woman, they're just sitting and talking. And talking
Just
for
like
what?
we are.
Like we are what? We are already talking for 30 minutes, so some people say, okay, I can't have this
Sure.
anymore. Yeah, so it's why, but audio version may be okay because somebody's driving. He even try, can't even pull out of his ear. So it's completely different. It's why I can see most of the time it's either one works, but because technology is here, everybody does it. Okay, video and audio, no problem.
Okay. Okay. So like let's come back to influencer marketing because a question just popped up in my head. So what are some of the mistakes that you made or you saw someone make regarding influencer marketing? What are some of the things we should be avoiding versus some of the things we should be doing, like some best practices? Can you share some?
There are plenty of best practice and everything. My major, well, my first advice, if I can, advice would be ask yourself, but really ask yourself why you're doing it.
Uh-huh.
If you cannot answer this question, or your answer would, I'm doing it because I can, then you probably have to think again.
Uh-huh.
So just doing a webinar, we're talking, yeah. Uh, so there was a question about influencer marketing, not about webinars.
Yeah,
Sorry.
but I will ask about webinars as well. So basically, I
Yeah.
want your best
Okay.
practices.
So with influencer marketing, my major advice, if I can, as I say, and I actually wanted to write it on a wall, but we moved from Kiev to, and I don't think landlord would appreciate.
Uh-huh.
So only work with people who want to work with you. Only work with people who see the value in working with you. Obviously, you have to try, you have to find the angle and everything, because it's not like you came to influencer and influencer immediately just hug you, say, yes, I wanted to work with you all my life. It doesn't work this way. But
Yeah.
you find a way to work with influencer, you offer it to influencer, and try to find the angle the influencer will see value. If influencer doesn't see value, then probably you're wasting your time. So never work with influencer who just say, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah.
No, it never works. Find someone who may be smaller, or as I say, a rising star, and just go with it. Because I've seen it so many times when you talk to some big names. I'm not going to pronounce any names. With big name, and the guy or girl or woman say, yeah, okay, I'll do it for you. I say, what do you want to talk about? And influencer saying, okay, this is a link, check it. I have 5 presentation, you can choose any. You click it and you see presentation 5, 10 years old. Okay, the
Oh.
date change, but it's just so he or she been running around all conference and done this 5 presentation for many years. I'm not. It's always a show how interested he or she is. So I wouldn't be interested. Maybe it's not that bad presentation, but because influencer is not interested, it would be disaster. It would be very difficult for you. I don't know disaster, but it would be very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
You would have to chase your influencer. Influencer would not promote this event, or anything you do, because it's not only about events with influencer. So the major advice with influencer, try to work only with people who want to work with you.
Yeah. That's a great piece of advice. So let's now move on to advice pieces of advice regarding webinars. So what are some of the things we should be doing?
Yeah, okay. What would be my main advice of what, and I try to ask myself, and not every time I have an answer, unfortunately, and usually out of that we produce mediocre webinars. Unfortunately, you ask yourself why you're doing this webinar, and if the answer is because I can, this is bad answer, wrong answer. Just think again. Maybe you shouldn't do it. Maybe you shouldn't do it because technology is here. It's so easy nowadays to do webinar. Extremely absolutely anyone can do that. So you're doing it, for example, I can see on a StreamYard. We're doing it on a StreamYard as well. Fantastic platform, and I'm not affiliate of StreamYard. A fantastic platform. Everyone can pay. I can't remember what, $40 a month or $49 a month,
Yes.
and have it and send it to YouTube and well, if they're lucky, get millions of views and everything. So it's easy. It's easy, but because it's easy, still the main question: why are you doing it? So we are doing our webinar. We were doing our webinars as influencer marketing tool. So we try to befriend influencer and everything. It would be much easier probably to have a coffee with you, Olga, and maybe we can just talk about something and everything, and get kind of know each other better. But it's impossible to do in scale. Even a big company couldn't send just people, influencer marketer, like me, to go have a coffee in Chicago or in Lublin or in, I don't know,
Yeah.
in Tokyo tomorrow. It's impossible. But online is possible. Online is possible.
Yeah.
So you can talk to people, you can befriend people, you can keep relationship. So it's why we done our webinar. So sometimes we didn't have I don't know, hundreds of people watching. I was like, well, okay, it's not a big deal. But if you have only 2.5% watching it, it's bad for everyone because influencers are not idiots. They can see nobody watching you and they don't like it. So even if you want to please only influencer on your screen, you still have to have audience.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
guess.
because for example, if I ask you for a webinar, and I will for sure, we do this kind of audit webinars, and I know you're very good at it. So for example, and you do a webinar with us, and two people watching us, I'm pretty sure you would be very disappointed. And you said next time I ask you, want to do it again?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, but I'm not sure. But yeah. But how many webinars do you have now? Like how often do you host webinars at Duda?
One a week.
One a week. Okay. And how many have you done for Duda so far?
Yeah, it's like 50 webinars a year, and I was with Duda a year and a half, so
Okay.
like
So I can do the math.
about 70 webinars. Yeah,
And
give or
are
take.
those webinars live or pre-recorded?
We only do
And
live
why?
webinars, and I think it's a very big point. Uh, why? Because when you're watching something, when you're watching a recording of live things, you understand. You couldn't watch it live, so it's a recording of live webinar. It's like a live webinar, but with all disadvantages because you can't ask question or anything like that. But when you watch pre-recorded video, most of the people has much higher benchmark for pre-recorded video. So, for example, if I forgot something, and I'm thinking,
Uh-huh.
it's very bad for pre-recorded video because people say,
Uh-huh.
"Well, come on." Yes, pre-recorded video. So people expect much higher quality, more dynamics, and everything from pre-recorded video. And for live video, well, okay, it's live video. Anything could happen live,
Yeah.
and people who watching it live, they understand it's live. They have, well, okay, what happened? Guy forgot something. Okay, if he forgot completely everything and he's thinking for half an hour sitting like that, it's not great. So
Sure.
it's why you usually try to bring people who can think on their foot, but still people have much more tolerance to kind of things went wrong during a live thing. It's why, for example, when you've done live webinar and after that some marketing people came to you say, look, we want to do out of your webinar 1 minute video extraction. It sounds great, but usually doesn't work
Uh-huh.
because
Why?
because because for 1 minute video you really need very good video. You need to good light everything, because otherwise it would look like homemade video. 1 minute homemade video, homemade in a bad sense, it's not good. And out of webinar, you usually it's very, very, very difficult because look at my light, look at your okay, your one is good one, but still, so kind of people from small things they kind of expected much higher quality, and especially webinar because webinar okay we have me and you. Sometimes webinar you have 2 or 3 or 4 people small and like a small
Yeah.
thumbnails and a big screen with a presentation, for example. Out of this almost impossible to get anything good shot. So it's why I think it's waste of time. Sometimes you can squeeze something if you like it, but obviously I think if you really have resources and do something, you should kind of redo it or just uh, uh, don't try to use live things to make it short and for promotional or any other purposes. It's what I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure many people won't agree with me.
Yeah, I kind of I never really thought about like live events this way. I thought in my mind they seemed more like more difficult, more complicated. I had my first live event like yesterday with Jason Barnard, and I was quite stressed about it, but at the end of the day, I think it turned out really okay. And
But Jason done like 250, no, not 200 only his own, and he's done on like yours. So probably he's done like 500 live events, and I'm pretty sure you can see it. So he
yeah, yeah,
doesn't care. He just go and do it.
yeah, he's just geeking out, and it was like it was, and then I didn't have to do like video editing, all those things I usually do. So it is also like a time saver for me. And
Yeah, it is. But as I said, if
yeah,
people watching it and understand it was a live video, they say, okay, live video, someone forgot something on light is not perfect of these things, of that things. When it's pre-recorded video, usually it's shorter, pre-recorded, shorter, straight to the point and everything. And if you cannot get it, people, yeah, this is my personal opinion.
yeah, sure. Yeah, but can you like talk about some maybe some other mistakes? For example, one of the things when it comes to like webinars, whether recorded or not recorded. So one of the mistakes I have already done because I'm a newbie in that area was I once I recorded an interview, actually a bunch of them, and then I realized that I wasn't using like this mic, but some external mic in my camera. So
No, so many technical, especially when you're doing live things. Obviously, preparation is a king. So, for example, we were doing many webinars, oh, reasonable amount of webinars with Andy Christodina, uh, and everything we practice everything. And for do the conference, which were in January, I decided I don't need to check anything. But Andy changed laptop. So and he was some kind of funny things. So he was not able to share his screen during the
oh
conference. So whose fault is it? It's my fault because even you've done it so many times before. Still go and spend 50 minutes, do all the technical check, because even done all technical check, you still might have some issues because life is life. Not anything could happen. But if you didn't do all the preparation or check all possible things, it's actually a recipe for disaster.
yeah, and what are your thoughts on having like your live event turned into like a podcast and have it like published in your podcast feed? I just did that. Do you think it is a good idea to have like the live event for people who are listening?
It's not is I would think it's not question of it's live or not live. As I mentioned, people doing like podcast and the webinar or live stream, which is video, and
Hmm.
they do both of them, and I think it's not gonna work. One of them is not
Uh-huh,
gonna
yeah.
work because events are different nature. It might sometimes it might work, but most of the time it won't. So one of them would be not good. Put it this way.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so do you have like any other tips that come to your mind regarding like webinars, live streams, podcasts, something you haven't shared yet and I haven't yet asked about?
Okay, as I said, technical things.
Technical and the question why.
It's understandable. If you do it yourself, you always I mean you moderate it. You will use it, you learn, and at a certain point you will be doing it easy and everything. But you have to. It's like driving a car, learning a car. You have to drive this 1,000 kilometers first before nothing. You will learn it before driving. So it's the same with hosting webinars and everything. So you have to do that many and pay attention to details. We had some weird and funny live streams. I don't want to say any name, but we have very known SEO, and she was doing it in her kitchen, and she had rubbish bin just behind her.
Oh,
And who fault was that? My fault, because I before going live I should really look at this as, what is it? Is it a rubbish bin? Can you bloody move it? So, and she was sitting and talking, and I'm pretty sure everyone was watching. Well, maybe I'm paranoid, but I was watching this rubbish bin and I said, how could I miss? Also, if you don't host it yourself, find a good host, find a good host who is not professional host, but who's for example SEO like you're hosting it now. So and train it in a way that, and try to find people who can think very quick, because situation
mhm.
life things could anything could happen, and your host has to be prepared for absolutely everything.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one more thing. I won't tell any name. We had this SEMrush, this big, huge global marketing day, which was 24 hours live stream, and it has 4 offices, starting in Australia, London, New York, and San Francisco. And we had one host, and we probably put too much pressure on the host, saying, "Oh, we have 56,000 registrations," which was true. But we put so much, so host actually get sick, really. I mean, really sick,
Oh.
because I was, we were having this kind of thing like a walkie-talkie, but digital one. And someone
Hmm.
said, he said his name and said he's in the toilet and he's sick. He can't just do it. It's just how sick, very sick. He can't do it.
Oh.
So we were very lucky. We have, because it was a long session. We have two hosts for half and half. We had another host who's supposed to start 4 hours later, but he was already there because he had to flew there, and he said, "Okay, I'll do it." And he's done 8 hours instead of four. He was fantastic. Uh, and but those kind of things could happen. So if you're not
Yeah.
prepared, you end up in disaster.
Yeah. So I had like one similar kind of situation, but I was pre-recording an interview and somehow out of the blue my internet kind of crashed because I'm using like this Starlink from Elon Musk, and it sometimes it likes to
Hello,
like
Elon.
sometimes it likes to simply like stop working for a couple of minutes, and it happened. But unfortunately, I then learned that StreamYard keeps recording, and it was with Garrett Sussman, and he realized that I like disappeared, and he kept like talking. Then I came back, and like the entire session was recorded and was like okay to be
Yeah, but
published.
if it's recorded, you still can edit it and do things.
Yeah,
If it's live, you still can record your YouTube recording, but it's much more complicated, and sometimes it's not worth it, because you will, if you take it out, edit and upload again, you will lose permalink, so it will be a
yeah,
different link. So you will lose all your live views and everything. So you really have to do you want to do it, or you do because with YouTube editor you can slice things, but just it's so bloody bad. So yeah,
yeah,
just no worse of it.
yeah, sure. Okay, so now I have a few more I would say, personal question. So, how does your normal day look like?
Yeah, normal day looks like okay. If unless it's Saturday and Sunday, I used to work every day. I used to
Uh
answer
huh.
email. I used to contact people and everything. I try not to do it during Saturday and Sunday
Uh
because
huh.
otherwise there is no life and. Just maybe I'm too old for that, but I'm trying not to do that.
Uh huh.
Otherwise is because a lot of I still in Europe. Yeah, I move 1 hour towards United States. So because I used to be in Kiev, now I'm in Spain, in Valencia. So 1 hour, still huge difference, especially with the Pacific time. So and because it's a main area of work. My days mainly goes later, uh, so which kind of suits me well because I'm not really early person. It's
Uh
difficult
huh.
for me to wake up early, but because my office, which I can belong, is in Tel Aviv, which is 1 hour in front of me. So usually when I wake up and go to computer, I already have a couple of questions there.
Uh
But
huh.
yeah, it's okay. So otherwise, it's just probably as in this industry, normal day. You do a lot of calls. And for me, calls are fine, but obviously when you have like 5 or 6 calls, you tired, and at the end of the day, you can't really do anything. So I try
Mm-hmm.
not to do more than 2 3 calls. And the email, I'm zero inbox person, if you can say it. I try not to have anything in my inbox answered.
Oh.
So yeah, but I'm not that popular, so I don't have that many. I'm pretty sure people like you or like very famous SEO people. A lady says I think told me she's got every day like 100 of them. If
Yeah,
I
I get
would
tens.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So it
Actually.
me too, this kind of level, and some of them clearly I'm not going to read because it's a spam or just very general email. And everything. So yeah, so I go through the email and I talk to my colleagues and I talk to other people. I do love to talk with people in a real life. It's difficult, but if when I can, I do so. A couple of weeks ago, I went to Barcelona. It was a conference there, and we had a lot of coffee and beer there, and I think it really helps.
Uh huh.
So
Okay.
if you want to call me for conference, real life conference, and if it's in Europe, because I've been actually offered to go to Barbados, but not offered to go to Barbados. I've been invited to go to Barbados, but it's a long flight, and
Yeah.
sometimes if no one's gonna cover it, you think probably no, I'm not going
How
to
about
Barbados.
Vietnam? There is going to be a conference in Vietnam, I think.
Yeah, it's gonna be great conference in Vietnam, and Chiang Mai is also a great place to be. But it depends. So I'm trying to pretend I'm SEO and saying the best answer is it depends. Uh,
Yeah.
if my company will cover a bill, I will go, or
I
somebody
get it.
else, or somebody else. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Within Europe, you live here. It's reasonably cheap to travel, and you can travel for 1 or 2 days, as it's close and easy. So yeah, I wouldn't really it won't break your bank. But if you travel to Vietnam, you always not travel for 2 days. You probably travel
Yeah.
for a week at least, and the flight and the accommodation and
Yeah.
everything, it would be a few thousands of dollars. So if you can afford it to pay, I'm not sure. Yeah, also, I'm not sure I will even ask my employee to do that.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I would like to go to Vietnam, but yeah, it's like I have like too many things going on next year, so probably I will just watch some online recap of that conference. Maybe next year we'll see.
It's an interesting conference. So I went to Barcelona conference and I asked many people, Are you coming for conference for listen, or you come in conference for whatever you can call it, having a beer with the people, networking, or whatever? Obviously, if you report to your boss, you don't say, "Oh, I came to the conference to have a beer with Chris Simmons," for example. No, but realistically, Olga, are you going to conferences to really listen what people saying, or are you going to conference to communicate with people you know or you want to know?
I think the second probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's for me. It's exactly the second. I don't mind listen one or two interesting presentation. Most of the time, I might not even understand what they're talking. I'm not technical enough, so I
Mhm.
go for to conference for actually to build up or strength relationship mainly. This is my focus, and I
Yeah.
think a lot of people do it this way.
Yeah. Especially now after pandemic, like when the conferences are coming back, people are like hungry for meeting other people in person. So
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and people obviously want to travel, and you can't blame them. Of course, for after 2 years of not going anywhere, you want to travel, sure.
yeah. Okay, so now I want you to ask who would you like to give a shout out to? Who we should be following, who we may not be following yet. It can be an SEO, not an SEO.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't prepared, but yeah, I will say I have a friend. She is a female
Hmm.
friend, and she's technical SEO, and I think she is absolutely great and great from practical point of view. Olesya Korotka from Ukraine.
Yeah, yeah,
And obviously, she's fellow Ukrainian, so I might be biased slightly. She now moved to United Kingdom, and she lives in Leeds, interesting
uh-huh.
place. And so so I will shout for her. I think she is not publicly known enough. I would say.
Yeah. I heard about her a lot, but yeah, I think yeah, she. I hope she's a rising star. I would say as well. Yeah. Okay. So I think is there something else? So where can people find you? The final question. How can people connect with you? Are you on Mastodon or still on Twitter?
No, I'm not on Mastodon. I click couple times, and for me, it's just too complicated. Obviously,
Yeah.
if everyone moves, and it will be welcome in Twitter, which I hope they won't. I will
Yeah,
I
me
will go
too.
to Mastodon or wherever. But for me, I'm not technical enough. For me, Mastodon looks just a little bit more confusing than I want to see.
Yeah.
I think the beauty of Twitter is very very simple. If as I said, if SEO community, for example, will move completely, I will follow, of course, but it's not in my plan. So I'm on Twitter, Anton Shulke, very easy, but I also on Facebook, uh, for example, and obviously LinkedIn. I think everyone is LinkedIn, yeah,
Yeah.
nowadays. Yeah,
Okay.
no,
So
I'm absolutely open to if someone has any questions or someone wants me to help. I'm not looking for paid job. I'm just as a disclaimer. If someone wants me to help with something, yeah, I'm absolutely open to do that.
yeah, that's awesome. Okay, and then so thank you so much for spending time with me. I learned a ton, and I think the audience learned a ton as well. So thank
Uh,
you.
thanks, Olga, for having me.
Yeah. So thanks everyone, and bye bye.